Soviets and Soviets of the Red Army. How you all doing? This is Conolberg.
I'm Mangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today we're bringing you some more of the Burning Baltics tournament, celebrating the new divisions of the most recent DLC, our Steel Division 2. Rang, who's our new friend over here on the left, and who is his counterpart on the right?
Left hand side in the blue, we have Atkurtz playing the Gross Deutschland division with a balanced income. On the right hand side in red, we have a disheartened Eugene fan playing as the 7th Estonian Infantry Division with a Vanguard income.
I just want to say, so thrilled to see that the Czech T-38s, I know they are absolutely just kind of ridiculous tanks right now, but just, I love seeing these guys in the recon tab.
And it has the Luke's, or the 222 turret on top, so it's a very peculiar mix of German and Czech engineering.
Even back then, it was a very peculiar mix of German and Czech engineering. But we are seeing, like you said before, so that we have the 7th Estonians over here. So what do we expect from the Soviet republics over here next to the Baltics?
Estonian division is pretty mediocre, like another Russian-style infantry division. They have some, like, mediocre tank choices. The infantry is okay. Yeah, there's not too much to really talk about. Gross Deutschland, another division that focused a lot on heavy tanks. They got a lot of infantry, and yeah, there's just like a Panzer Grenadiers / heavy Panzer division, which should make sense considering their status.
The status. Now, you were saying to me as well before, and this is actually up on the wiki, they are the poster propaganda boy. They're the pretty boys, basically, right?
Oh yeah. You know, if they just built more Gross Deutschland divisions, they would have run the war.
Well, that was the problem, though, is that they could only biggie size one of their Deutschlands into a Gross Deutschland. A lot of it was a Klein Deutschland, so, you know, it was really a question of that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just the opening of this match has just been insane. As we saw, Atkurtz moving with the Storm Group, actually capturing the enemy town position, but at the same time up north, disheartened Eugene's actually tried to push into the enemy town, but didn't make as much progress. Infantry and light vehicles enough to really stop any more movement. We got 122mm artillery gun being brought in pretty close to try and do a little bit of damage, but not really doing anything.
That's true. These Stormtroopers, we haven't seen these guys yet. This is a new addition, isn't it?
Yep. Like, just because of the post boys, they got some pretty good SDG troops. So it's gonna be good in town and forest fights. Speaking of forest fights, like Eugene Fan pushing really heavy. I mean, look, it's a 16-8, like 3 minutes into the match. He's kicking pretty hard at these Estonians. So this is what he needs, because with that Vanguard income, he's going to be looking pretty bad once he hits B phase because of that Vanguard income nerf.
No, I'm not going to say funny per se. And then DG's the PTRSs are going to get another kill. Get out of the truck. Nope, too late. Down to the south, the Stormtroopers are still quite terrifying. They were engaged by 4 Russian vehicles and still, killed 2.
Yeah.
So those guys by themselves, extremely deadly. I'm actually quite excited to see what that can mean for the German-Soviet kind of potential plays here.
Yeah. So, yeah, disheartened Eugene Fan really making these, rather crazy aggressive maneuvers. The question is whether he's going to be able to hold on to the territory that he's managed to control. He has a pretty big bulge in his side down south in his town, and trying to get rid of those Stormtroopers is going to be a bit of a pain, I feel like.
Now, is it a bulge, or is he just happy to see us?
I think it's both, Khan. I think it's both.
That seems certainly fair. It seems very, very fair to me. I do want to make another quick call out here. The Pioneers over here, that PP Shaw 43.
It's the same as they have like all weird names because it's all Estonian compared to Russian, but it's essentially just
with the
a Zapori PPSH squad. But yeah, one of the gimmicks of the Estonians is that sorry, lost train of thought. Is that they all have PPSH 43s compared to PPSH 41s, which is arguably worse. It doesn't have as much of a fire rate or suppression, I believe, compared to the 40 round of the drum, so
okay,
bit of a downgrade.
And I know we talked a little bit about last time with the range kind of reset for so many of the vehicles that the German P4 is just going to be dominant. We did just see it just now take out an Su-85 at range and comfortably doing that with a level of consistency. I am fascinated to see how that's going to change the kind of heavy tank tactics. We talked about it a little bit last time, but even more so as we're
Yes.
seeing more of this expressed.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to just spam Shermans across open fields and try to engage efficiently. You're going to have to be a little bit more. It's definitely going to be a little bit more harder for the Russians, as you don't have as much super heavy long range AT. Of course, the IS-2 is always will be deadly as ever, but you'll, especially with like your 85mm gun tanks, you'll get into, especially with German heavy armor, try to bait them closer towards you.
But not for nothing, I thought that almost was more active, at least towards the narrative that we tended to see on the Eastern Front.
Yeah, I'm
the
cool
Soviets
with it.
We're forced into these kind of greater number charges to offset the relative, I'm going to put that in air quotes here, relative technical kind of accuracy that the Germans had at range.
Yeah, and if you just need to even the odds, like, you can always use smoke.
I don't know people are okay with using smoke, man.
I know.
I said my mom told me I should never smoke. I think that extends to my unit sightlines as well.
Yeah, but so far, the front has actually managed to stabilize. It's gone down to a trove, just due to the fact that Atkurtz managed to regain a little bit of territory along his central position, and he still has the bows under his control. The T-70 Radevka's pushing through, managing to pin down one of the storm groupers, but yeah, the T-70 is probably going to move up a little bit too close, and then of course just get 18-aided.
Unlikely, because he actually has those recon optics, though.
Oh yeah, good point. It's going to come down to the Panzer 3080 Luke's 222 monstrosity.
He's going to stress him out, and the other dude's going to jump out. And yeah, because that was Vedka, that was the only chance he was going to get.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that much suppression, you shouldn't even be able to hit a broadside of a barn.
Forget the broadside of a barn. I mean, any building might should be a little bit difficult. And yet, there we go.
There we go.
38T is not a powerhouse, but if you know where to shoot,
yeah.
We're seeing the power of them right now. Yeah, these are just souped up P2s.
Yeah. And it's definitely going to be pretty interesting with autocannons. It's not something we see ultra often, but they've, with the range changes, have got a range nerf. So you're going to be pretty smart with where you position and use them. Like where he is right now is perfect, because you can get close range kills and anything that pops around the road.
And I think that, again, it suitably indicates who they were. They weren't there to engage long range. They were there to kind of be, again, knife fighters. You're going to be stabbing somebody in the back. They're urban mechs, for God's sake. They're not, atlases.
Very true. Up north, I do like how we have this DP squad moving through. I'm expecting him to just PTRD his Panda form, blow it up and run hit. I mean, it's a little bit presumptuous, but you never know. Yeah. Never mind. Never mind.
The problem with that is that since the ranges have been reset, that kind of punch and pop issue, 34s as well for that matter, that kind of punch and pop thing that we're kind of used to seeing from marauding Soviet Union units is going to be a little bit harder to achieve.
Very true. Very true. And also just the machine gun suppression is definitely going to change things up, of course. But I mean, Eugene Fan is still doing pretty decent heading into the end of A phase here, my bad. He still has good control over the southern hill position. It hasn't really been challenged. And, I mean, he does have a lot of infantry to fight close range, of course. Same time, however, Atkurtz has a lot of rather nasty infantry as well. I feel like Atkurtz has a pretty good chance of actually pushing pretty heavy up north. There's really not a whole lot here from the Estonian flank. He just needs a little bit. Well, he has enough infantry, really. He just needs to push through and use his armor support to back him up.
I'm sorry, I was watching down to the south as we had the Sturmgruppe just being engaged by the Estonian Tango Thessalonikis, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, because it kind of felt like the mini boss kind of went through. We had a T-70 go through, we had infantry go through, and now we had a T-34-85 go in. Now T-34-76 is going in. I think we have like this really, really strange amount of, well, application of force. Like, I'm not sure I really understand the deployments there, but hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
So.
You definitely could use a bit more infantry pushing that town. It seems like, I mean, he does have one DP squad nearby to move through. He just needs to actually move up with the T-34 covering him, because there's really not a whole much left. As some groups have been beaten down quite a bit, and these are 2 flags, which he's dearly missing right now, which could be a pretty easy capture.
It could be, but I don't know that we're going to see it per se.
But yeah, we're now into B phase, and this is where the income starts to look a little bit bad for Eugene Fan. You could say it would make him a little bit disheartened.
Wow. You know, I am surprised that joke hasn't been made by him before.
We made it before last time we've seen him. It's just... It's such a good name. It's such a good name. You know, you should probably feel a little less disheartened now of this new patch, because, I mean, we've been talking about it a lot in the recent cast, but it's a pretty good patch, so you've done quite a bit to improve the game.
True. I mean, they haven't added in all the crazy things we saw with Red Storm, and I know the Red Storm right now is in a bit of a hiatus, since the new patch went in, they have to recode everything. I can't wait to see how this ends up hitting those divisions.
Yeah.
But I gotta hand it to Eugene. I know there's a lot that we can smack on him for, but they've been trying to make this a better game.
Yeah,
they really have been.
It just takes them a while to implement these changes.
Yes.
I do like how Disheartnened is using these 122mm artillery guns in a pretty aggressive position. As we've seen earlier before, the first one didn't go too great, but the second one in a good position can prove some pretty good fire support. Because, as you know, it's a pretty deadly anti-tank weapon. And it has, like, decent range, 1,500 meters. And it will be very useful in knocking out any Tigers that come his way, because he doesn't have a whole lot of heavy AT in his deck. It's really just, like, SU-85s. It's really his most effective heavy anti-tank. Like, standard anti-tank it is, and he doesn't get a whole lot.
How am I so blind I can't even see these guys? How am I missing them?
It's by the town down south. The 122.
Oh my gosh, yeah, geez. I was seeing everything else but... Unfortunately, I don't know that it's going to last too long.
Oh, he's getting pounded here by the pack, and well, he doesn't knock out the half track at least, but he's going to be able to fall back. The off-map artillery clearing the rest of the units in the town, and I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot to push back, but he doesn't have to push back a whole lot as most of the things are dead.
That does tend to solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. Making the enemy dead definitely makes it easier to capture points, so I can confirm that from experience.
There are some moments, Rang, when I'm very terrified about what you do in your spare time, but that's okay. I don't need to know, so that when the cops ask me, I don't need to lie, okay?
Yeah, it's probably best that you don't know.
I completely agree. So the north has calmed down. It is a little bit more even up there, and I think it's just a matter of just everyone's kind of finding their attention drawn to different places. Indeed, we can see the reinforcements have been drawn down south, which is then allowing some Soviet reinforcements to the north to potentially set up for another push.
Yes. And in terms of his map momentum, Atkurtz, essentially, he has time in his side. He doesn't have to worry too much. He's got that slow +1 currently getting the lead. He definitely has the income to overtake, especially once you hit C phase. That's like a 65-point income difference, which is like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So, just as long as he doesn't lose in the next 6 minutes, he should be fine.
Exactly, and I can't help but feel that that's kind of the panic that Disheartnened Eugene Fan is working with.
Yeah.
Ooh. And there's a Tiger down below, so Tiger. Right. Not sure we're going to see any Soviet aircraft that can do a whole lot about it, though there is that IL-2 carpet bomb, which I guess I wasn't really paying attention to before. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely going to be useful in trying to knock out those heavy Tigers. This isn't a great map for heavy tank, so to speak, because it's rather close quarters, but at the same time, Disheartnened doesn't have a whole lot of heavy AT to begin with, not even just 2 anti-tank guns, which is really going to screw him over in those close-range fights. We got quite a bit of forces being brought up north here, some T-26s and some more infantry from Disheartnened, but once again, I mean, Atkurtz, he can just hold his side, just get that slow plus 1 point advantage and just secure the victory over time.
And the Pioneers, they're scary, but they're not going to be able to push out, I think, 2 squads of Peagrams. I mean, of course, if they get in there before they can start chucking their demo charges, but that's one thing. I love seeing the Churchills, by the way. I know this is basically the infantry Churchill support. This is not the crazy, scary ones.
Like the real one.
Yeah, but I think there was a late war upgrade I think that I keep thinking of. So this is, again,
you think it's 75mm one?
Yes.
And then with the super crazy, let's have 152mm of frontal armor.
Yeah. It's like a War Thunder tank, like coming. That's a real deal.
And in the Avro one, of course.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
The best thing about the Avro run is that it doesn't friendly fire friendly troops, which was, I believe, what the British developed technologically speaking during the war. There was like some secret source weapon.
I'm sorry, I'm watching up north. The T-26s find themselves completely overmatched.
Yeah. What?
Never mind.
Okay, I mean, the veterancy definitely helped out in that engagement. This is a pretty good push here from Disheartnened. He's pushing out the Panzer Grenadier, the T-34 leading the charge, can knock out the Panzer 38T. This is what he needs, because he needs to start getting points, like, right now.
Yeah, but this is going to get slowed down completely, so here we go. Bombs up.
I think you mean bombs down.
That's true. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I did mean that. And while he's lost the north, he still has Stokes that are being brought on in, and if he can control the little homestead, let's call it, to the south of that forest, he should be fine.
Yeah. It's a very nice push here from Disheartnened, but I don't think it's really going to have that much staying power, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, we've got another Focke-Wulf being brought in. Wonder what he's going to go after. Probably the infantry, or nothing. He's lost line of sight, because most things are dead.
Still get more Peagrams, that's good. It is a 12-12, though. And actually, we're getting another barrage down to the south as well. Jeez, so, I mean, some very interesting things happening. Okay, T-34-76 goes down. This is the ball game. And he dies even before that by the Stogie, who now has a perfect flank on everything.
Yep.
Oh, that's gonna be bad.
Oh yeah, he's got 2 Stugs. I see what you mean. Like, he's got him caught in the crossfire here. And now with no heavy AT, really can't really do too much against the Stugs. We've got an 902 being brought in, but the Focke-Wulf is gonna, well, fuck him up.
And honestly, as long as he freaks him out just a bit, that's gonna be enough to see his clusters maybe be scattered a little bit more.
It doesn't matter if he kills the Stug, he has the Tiger. And yeah, the cluster's scattered, and very cool pattern, but not effective for actually blowing up enemy armor.
Oh, that's what the LA5 is over here saying, dude, you're having a laugh. Unfortunately, he's not really got the same sense of humor. Which is probably a good thing, because that's a horrible, horrible joke.
It was
down to the south in the meantime, though, while there has been engagement up north, as above, so below. And the Su-76s, I didn't realize, get 135 those APCRs.
Yeah, they're, like, not terrible at close range. They have, like, yeah, pretty decent fire rate at 10 rounds a minute. So if he can flank, I mean, he's flanking the Tiger here of the T-34.
He's flanking one Tiger here, the T-34. There's 2 more on that northern road.
It's going to be a little bit of an issue, I think.
Yeah, it's a little scary wary when you have 3 super heavy vehicles engaging you. And yep, that's one Tormentor gone. And I think the Culips over here, I'm going to call them Culips, definitely going to get a kill, I think. And nope, never mind. Disheartened says, you know what, man, I'm too disheartened. I can't do it.
Yep, and there we go, the GG, a 800 point difference, so pretty standard.
T-3476 doing pretty well. We got a field battery. That's the off map that did a good job in kind of suppressing that town. A much less high octane game perhaps than Tuesday, but I would argue that lack of octane is probably because the Germans didn't have the gas for it anyway.
No.
So.
Yeah, it was a very awesome opener Eugene did. I mean, getting all that territory so fast, but like two things really screwed him over. First is the Vanguard nerf. It's really going to come down more to probably a balanced meta that we'll see in the league in the future. It's just the best income right now. And Estonians are just not good. As you saw there, they really, really, really lack any sort of good anti-tank to just deal with Tigers. I mean, you're mainly just using 76mm guns, and you have some 6-pounders, of course, with Churchills, but it's a very lackluster division, all things considering. It's probably not something we're going to see all too often.
No, it's probably one of more of those terrible division tournaments or like a meme machine kind of idea, so.
Yeah, it'd probably just be relegated to terrible divisions.
Yes, but it is nice for us to see another one of the Soviet republics being represented here, and I mean that without any kind of sarcasm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty crazy now, Khan. I believe we're up to 72 divisions in this game. It's like more than double on what SD44 has, and they're planning to do more of the Italian front DLC eventually. So it's kind of crazy.
And still, we have only half as many League of Legends champions and a quarter of all the ones in Dota.
Eventually, this game will just become like League of Legends, where the ban list is just massive. You have to play SD League. You have to just ban. You get to pick like 20 bans, divisions you don't want to fight against. It's crazy.
No wonder Protoss hung it up for the time being. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I really have to doff my hat to them. They're doing a great job of being so expansive with that too. So yeah.
This game has a lot of content. You know, it could use some more maps.
Yes, for the love of God, add more maps.
At least they have a 10v10 now.
Half of Russia, but that's
one map.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a different fight for a different day. Any last thoughts about this one, sir?
Nope.
Well, in that case, then, folks, I think it's time for us to end this particular cast. So until next time and next week, I'm Con Olberg.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.